Okay, welcome back everyone. We are live today from the Newport Clinic and I've got Physio Anna here with me today to give you all a break from my voice. Anna's been away. She's been away. Where have you been? You've been travelling through like the UK, you've been in Northern Ireland. Tell us what you've been up to.
Thank you. So yeah, just had a little trip back to the UK for the London Marathon. So took a little detour via Frankfurt just to explore for a couple of days and to help with the jet lag. And then yeah, basically hit the ground running, literally. for the marathon. So it was all a bit of a whistle stop tour to go to the expo, do the shakeout runs, and then all of a sudden, yeah, it was marathon day.
Yeah, so cool. So tell us like, because obviously you had been training for the London Marathon. So last year you did your first marathon. Sydney Marathon was your first marathon.
And I said 2 years ago I'd never run a marathon.
So now the triathlete morphs into the marathon runner, endurance athlete things, right? Like you just want to try it all. So you did your first one last year. What was the biggest difference you found in your training or the lead up from Sydney to London? What was the biggest difference?
In the training, I think Sydney was a bit of a mad one because I literally had kind of two quite significant injuries, like 14 and 12 weeks out, which meant I was essentially not guaranteed to make the start line because I had no kilometres in me 10 weeks out from the marathon. So this one felt really different because I'd had kind of a relatively consistent training block of regular running. Didn't get up very high, only like 54k, but yeah, we were managing a little Achilles problem coming off the back of Sydney because wouldn't recommend going not to 32k long runs in 7 weeks. But yeah, the surprising thing about that was that I still managed to kind of rehab it and increase mileage and settle pain all within that block. So that was quite a fun little experiment.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think I just on the day underestimated the jet lag, had a little bit of a chest infection, and then knew I was working too hard within the first 10 minutes, but decided to crack on anyway and hit the dreaded wall at 30k.
I mean, I've seen some of your photos, and yeah, the pain
is real.
Oh yeah, you can see it on your, like you're radiating it.
It's like,
yeah. But I think there's so much that goes into running a marathon, right? Like it's not just about and I think that you're explaining it really well. It's not just about the physicality on the day and your performance. It's the lead up, and there's so much more to it. But I think it takes such a mental toughness to be able to get through, even on the not optimal conditions that you were faced with. So I've got a really fun question for you. What are your top 3 learnings about yourself from the London Marathon experience?
Oh, I think the first one has to be, I guess, the importance of like the community around running. Sydney was very much a solo venture, and like most of my long runs were done solo, whereas for London I think I did one long run on my own and had people training with me pretty much the whole time, which was lovely. And then on the day, even crossing the start line with a friend from home, seeing my friends' mum and dad who came out to support me, and I got to give them hugs along the way, seeing the support crew that came over from Ireland, and then crossing the finish line with a friend. So it has to be that one, and just the importance of that, and like that is kind of why we do it, rather than, or as important a reason as like the hitting the times.
Yeah.
So although I'm delighted to say that I was annoyed by not hitting the goal time, those things nearly made it more valuable.
Yeah, what a beautiful reflection. Okay, that's one.
What was the question again? It kind of went off on a tangent.
your top 3 learnings, and I really loved that one. Really hits home, I think, the idea of community and why we do what we do. What is the purpose of it? What's the intention of it? And I think we can get really fixated on running being an individual sport and being all about run? Was it a shoot run? But really, why do you do it? It's the people, and what you explained there. Like, I got shivers. Like, it is. It's the people at the end of the day. So yeah, I think that's a beautiful reflection. So now you've got. I've bought you some time. Now you've got 2 more.
Number 2, just that even when you think you can't run anymore, you've still got more in you. So at 30k, dead for honestly what felt like probably another 7-8k of just like taking myself off to the side and not walking, because that was my goal at that point, was to not walk. And then literally maybe 4 kilometers from the finish line, I like bumped into the friend that I crossed the line with, rugby tackled in mid-race, which was all caught on camera. And then we just, the 2 of us side by side, picked the pace up and like did it together. So, but I, like on my own, wouldn't have been able to pick that up.
Yeah, right. And I think again, like, that the mental toughness of the 30k point and getting past that and knowing, you've already run 30 and you've got another 12 to go. I think mentally it does take something else, because I think a lot of runners would have that little voice in their head that just says, just stop, don't worry about it. You're already tired, just stop. I guess, how do you go about overcoming that if you do have the voice? Or maybe it's just me, maybe I have voices in my head. Maybe that shows more about me as a person.
I think comparing the 2 mentally, going into Sydney, I knew like I was nearly, and I use the term delusional, with like I was so laser focused, because it was nearly out of the question that I was going to make the start line and the finish line, and I wasn't willing to let that goal go. And I just felt so laser focused on that goal that on the day it just all, like, I was probably in like good physical condition, and it just all fell together in the day, and I even like surpassed my goal time, which people didn't believe that I could do at that point in time. And I think going into London, it's really interesting. I didn't quite have the same like massively laser focus on it, but was still really keen to go out and give it a really good shot. But I just couldn't quite mentally outdo having a mild kind of chest infection on the day.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think one of the things I guess you point to as well is the idea of people believing that you couldn't do it, and you going out there and proving them otherwise. And I think that's been something that, as I've gotten to know you more, I can see that that's a big driver of yours. And I think for a lot of people, they're driven by wanting to prove others wrong. And I guess for you, what would be your biggest motivator to want to keep running?
I actually could be quite happy to never race again. I actually just like the training.
Yeah, okay.
More than the racing. And I've always been a wee tiny bit funny about racing. And it's kind of hard to explain. I just enjoy a routine and feeling better with time. And I think that for me has more enjoyment than racing. It's nice to have a goal and to like push yourself, but I think I've raced a lot over the past couple of years, and I'm probably just a little bit I'm just enjoying maybe having 1 or 2. But that being said, because I didn't get the time in London, I have entered another one, so it'll be redemption. And I think that probably comes back to the not proving people wrong. I'm like proving to myself this time that I can do it. So I think going into the next one, I'll nearly have more of the fire, because I didn't do it this time.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, it's interesting. I often say it to my patients. It's not the destination; it's the journey. And I think what you're explaining there is just really appreciating the journey that it takes to be able to perform at that level. And I think we, as a society, can become so fixated on the destination, and I'm not there yet, and it's not good enough. But if you actually slow down to pay attention to how fun it is to do the work to get there, there's a real joy in that. And I really like that. All right, what's your last one? What's your top? So we've done 1 and 2. What's your third learning from your experience at the London Marathon?
Oh, I thought I had said 3.
No, you've done 2. You've only done 2. I've helped you with a few tangents. You've got your third. So you had your community, and then you had the mental toughness, the toughness to get through it. What's your third learning? I mean, you kind of touched on like the idea of enjoying the training more than the race itself, but then you also caveated that with, I've entered another race.
I think the third one might have to be that, like with my physio head on, that it's really reinforced the fact that with a tendon problem, tendons need load to adapt and improve. So like starting the block with like minimal mileage. It was a 20-week block, but going kind of the whole block with that sort of grumbling in the background and managing it with kind of, because I wanted to run, I was limiting my walking about, wearing heel raises in my shoes, doing the rehab, supplementing it with like lots of aerobic bike and cross training, and kind of managing flare-ups as they came. And yeah, just building up really gradually, and it seemed to work really, really well. And if you'd asked me beforehand, would I have been able to get through the block with and like make the start without a grumpy tendon, I'd have been like, no way. But having made the start line, finish line, and now having a fully healed tendon that's not grumpy, heel raises and all are out, walking barefoot again. It's just given me a real like appreciation for like kind of the rehab of that, but also that smart management can not hold you back if you do it right.
Yeah, totally. I think as a person in the healthcare industry, it gives you a whole new appreciation for what people come in with when you experience the same kind of injury. And I think until you've had a tendon injury, you don't really appreciate how like diligent you have to be with the loading and the rehab. And I know that you and Matt were big on exchanging treatments with each other and looking after each other.
Yeah.
And shout out to Matt. I'm sure that helped as well in your recovery, and also just having that person to talk to and lean on and keep you accountable as well. Yeah, cool. So thank you for sharing your 3 learnings about the London Marathon. I think that, it's been really cool to hear from you, and I know since you've come back, it's been a joy having you back in the clinic. But what would be one tip you would give to anyone watching this who's thinking about training for their first marathon?
Just do it. In the words of Nike, you can do more than you think you can, but just don't go hell for leather straight away, and do it smart.
You have it there first, folks. Just do it. Thank you, Anna, and thank you for tuning in. If you like this conversation, please like and subscribe to our channel, and check out what other cool conversations we have with people from our team. Until next time, see ya.